Hey everybody, it is Professor Hatch. I'm here to talk about the rhetorical analysis outline. I'm going to share my screen. I think I'm going to share the entire screen. All right. So this is the assignment page. There's an outline template right here, which if you click on it, it will give you this, um, which I've already downloaded. In any case, going back over here, if you need to be reminded of what the details are for the rhetorical analysis essay, then click on this and it'll take you to the prompt, tell you everything you need to do. We don't need that right now though. Presumably you've already watched that video. So this is just your basic 5-paragraph essay outline. This is all the things that you need for a 5-paragraph essay. You've got your intro, your conclusion, and 3 body paragraphs in between. I don't require that you do anything for the conclusion for the outline assignment. You will have to do that for the rough draft assignment. You don't need the first 2 parts. All you need for the intro is the thesis statement. And excuse me. And that leaves bodies 1, 2, and 3. You don't need to do the analysis for any of those because the analysis, in my opinion, is actually the hardest part of writing an essay, and the outline assignment should be quick and dirty. You can put the time and energy on the analysis in your rough draft assignment. In any case, with all of this stuff here, I'm just going to go back over to my Word doc. So you don't need, again, these first 2 things. You don't need analysis in any of the body paragraphs. Just going to get rid of that. If I were more professional, I would have done this before I started recording, but I am not more professional. What did I just do? Analysis. You don't need the analysis. And then you don't need any of this conclusion, any of that stuff for the outline. So what you need is to fill in these various things. And so I will remind you, I'm going to actually stop my screen share real quick. I will remind you that what you are, and again, this is on the essay prompt, what you are doing is you are reading that small excerpt of Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, where he talks about 9/11. And then you are going to find 3 claims that he makes. I'm only going to do one for the example in this video. But you are going to find 3 claims he makes in that excerpt. You're going to identify whether or not that is ethos, pathos, or logos, and whether or not it strengthens or weakens his overall thesis in the book. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back here and share my screen again. Go back here, body paragraph 1. I like to label these things. Claim 1, just so I know what the purpose of each body paragraph is. Claim 2 and claim 3. So you don't need to be talking about claim 1 in any body paragraph except body paragraph 1. You're going to introduce it, you're going to discuss it, provide the quote, give a little analysis, transition away into the next claim. And then we're going to actually come up with a thesis statement afterward. In the meantime, though, claim 1. So the claim that I'm going to be using, and actually let's go back to the analysis, rhetorical analysis essay prompt, and let's open up that excerpt down here. I read this in the last video too. I can see no difference between the officer who killed Prince Jones and the police who died, or the firefighters who died. They were not human to me, black, white, or whatever. They were the menaces of nature. They were the fire, the comet, the storm, which could, with no justification, shatter my body. Okay, so I wonder if I can, maybe, it's not going to let me do that. That's all right. It would be nice. I'm going to try one more time. It would be nice if I could just like copy and paste. It's really difficult to do from a PDF though. Um, all right, looks like I was able to do that. Formatting's kind of wonky, but hey, whatever. Going back over here. So claim one, um, I'm just gonna start writing a topic sentence. One of the claims made by Coates in his memoir is that there is no difference between the police, actually, the first responders, excuse me, who died on 9/11. Let's try that again. Who died on 9/11, and the officer who murdered his friend, Prince Jones. Okay, there's my topic sentence. Could that be better? Absolutely. Who cares? It's doing exactly what it needs to do. I am introducing the idea of this claim made by Coates in the topic sentence of this body paragraph. The next thing I do, I've already got the quote, and again, the formatting's all goofy, but I'm gonna fix that right now. And I'm literally going to start. I'm not going to just do the quote. I'm going to transition or lean into. What am I trying to say? I'm going to ease into the quote. So, as Coates says in his book, comma, and then I could see no difference between the officer who killed Prince Jones and the police who died, or the firefighters who died. They were not human to me, black, white, or whatever. They were the menaces of nature, the fire, the comet, the storm, which could, with no justification, shatter my body. All right. So I'm going to put the end quote right there before the period. And I'm going to put the citation in here because we always have to cite. I don't care if you're quoting, I don't care if you are paraphrasing or summarizing, you always have to cite. So this is from page 87. So Coates, comma, P dot, lowercase p dot, 87. There's the citation. This is a correct citation. This is the quote. This quote might be a little on the long side, maybe not. I'm going to leave it as is for right now. So there's the evidence we're going to be using. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to identify another claim made in this excerpt because I want you to do that work. So I'm just going to pretend, I don't know, another claim made by Coates is that Santa Claus is real. I'm writing this 4 days before Christmas. Santa Claus is real. All right. Now, that's obviously a bunch of crap, but it's supposed to serve as an example. So if that is what we are talking about in the first body paragraph, we're talking about how Coates can't see a difference between first responders and the guy who murdered his friend. Then in the second paragraph, we're talking about how Coates believes Santa Claus to be real. So the transition then would be, I always, here, check this out. In addition to X, also Y. This is the template or the formula that I always tell students to go with for transitions. So how does this work? In addition to X, um, not being able to distinguish between first responders and a corrupt officer, comma, Coates also believes Santa to be real. See, you are transitioning in. So if I read both of these sentences together, in addition to not being able to distinguish between first responders and a corrupt officer, Coates also believes Santa to be real. And then new paragraph, another claim made by Coates is that Santa Claus is real. It's a little clunky, but again, you are not supposed to. I'm going to stop my screen share again because this is important. I know the natural inclination is to write and we will have talked about this in class by now, but I'm going to repeat it in case you weren't there. The natural inclination when you have to write an essay is to just start with the first paragraph and write it linearly all the way until you're done. That is a terrible way to do it because for most of us, we're like 20 minutes in and then we're lost. We can't remember what our point was. We feel like we're just like wandering through the swamp of agony and it sucks. And then we feel like, shit, I got to write this whole thing over. I got to start over. And you don't. The whole point of doing an outline, which I'm going to make you do for every essay you have to write this semester, the whole point of the outline is to keep yourself on track. So going back to the outline, look what we have here. We've got a topic sentence, we've got evidence, transition, another topic sentence. If you, I'm going to zoom out on this a little bit, you can see all the parts of the outline. Like, look, there's context that has not been filled in yet. You can see what's missing without even having to read closely. This outline, the whole point of this is to keep you from like wandering lost through the swamp of agony. It's a roadmap to keep you on track or on course, if I wanted to correctly phrase that metaphor. So that's why I ask you to do this. Well, that's why I make you do it. In any case, uh, that's the whole reason for doing this. So now what I'm not going to do is anything else with the rest with body paragraphs 2 and 3. But what still needs to be done for body paragraph 1? Actually, let's see. Body paragraph 2 is about Santa Claus being real. I'm going to do a topic sentence, a fake topic sentence. Finally, Coates claim that I don't know, Satan Claus is absolutely not real. There. This is ridiculous, but whatever. And again, oh, the one thing I was going to say before, and I know I really should edit this, but I'm not going to. I don't have the skill to do that, and I don't want to acquire the skill to do that. The reason you are doing the outline is to just do this quick and dirty. It doesn't have to be. Before you write the final draft of your essay, you should write a shitty rough draft. Your rough draft is supposed to be written as fast as possible, and it's supposed to suck. And then the outline isn't even that good. The outline is just to organize things and get your brain working about the plan of attack you're going to be going with for the assignment. So there, you've got your, we needed this final thing. We don't need to include it in the thesis statement, but whatever. So anyway, what's missing from body paragraph 1? We've got the topic sentence, we've got the evidence, and we've got the transition. So all we need is a little bit of context. And context, one way to think of, I'm in the process of rewriting the basic essay structure part of my class for Canvas. So maybe there'll be a little discrepancy between what you read there and what I'm about to say here. I don't know, but the way I like to think of a context is you are setting up the quote, you're introducing the quote, you're giving a little bit of necessary background information before we go into the quote. So one of the claims made by Coates in his memoir is that there was no difference between the first responders who died on 9/11 and the officer who murdered his friend, Prince John. Okay. The murder of Coates' friend is still recent enough at the time of 9/11 that his bitterness towards the police leaves him unable to summon the basic human empathy to feel sorry for the first responders who died uh, um, on 9/11. Again, this doesn't have to be eloquent, just has to get the basic information out there. So here we go. That's the entire first body paragraph. This is all you have to do for each body paragraph. And I don't know, I'm guessing we're between 10 and 15 minutes into this video, but it's going to take you a little longer, maybe. That's okay. So the thesis statement, let's look over at the assignment or the essay prompt. There is a template that I give you in the prompt. So let's take that and copy it. And I'm gonna try to remove whatever formatting came with that web page so that when I paste it in here, thesis statement. All right. In his memoir, Between the World and Me. So Between the World and Me is the title of a book. So that should be in italics. Author Ta-Nehisi Coates' central theme, or central thesis, I should say, is blank, and he supports this thesis using blank. So his central thesis is that, I don't know, white supremacy um, controls the fate of his physical body. Um, through violence and or murder and or imprisonment. Parentheses for you there. And he supports this theme. I'm going to get rid of using with the effective use of pathos. Now, maybe there's also, if I were to continue this outline example, ethos and logos in there. Ethos is the writer's credibility. Pathos is an appeal to the reader's emotions. Logos is an appeal to the reader's logic. If we're looking just at this one example here, where he's saying he's comparing the first responders to the menaces of nature, they were the fire, the comet, the storm. Okay, well, this is not an appeal to anyone's logic. This is not a logical appeal. It's also not an appeal that makes any use of Coates's credibility in regard to what he's writing about. So this is exclusively an appeal to someone's emotions. Coates is so racked with grief over the loss of his friend, the murder of his friend, that he literally sees no difference between like firemen and police officers who he views as agents of the state, and he sees no difference between them and an earthquake who just, without any agenda, just kills. Earthquakes kill people all the time, or tornadoes or whatever, right? So this is an appeal to emotions. And then that's why I went with pathos, emotions, in the thesis statement for this out. All right, now technically, all you have to do is fill in body paragraphs 2 and 3, and you're done with this assignment. Obviously, body paragraph 1 is not going to be what I've done. You can do that. You can go with that if you want, but you have to obviously not use my words. In any case, though, the thing that would be here, not in the outline assignment, but for the ref draft, would be the analysis. So I'm going to actually do that for this assignment. And I know it means this video is going to be a little longer, but you'll survive the experience. And I just want to give you an example, because there's no other video for me to do this for. I want to give you an example of what the analysis should be doing. So analysis, which is 3 to 4 sentences. I'm going to write it here. Analysis is the 3 to 4 sentences that explains how and why the quote you've just used supports the topic sentence of the same body paragraph. So reading this quote, it is easy to see that Coates is still bitter about the loss. Let's go with untimely loss of his friend. There's one sentence. Um, when Coates likens the police to what is it? Fire, comets, storms, to fires, comets, and storms. He is responding emotionally uh, to the murder of his, actually, to the murderers of his friend. Obviously, the first responders, Jesus Christ, the first responders on 9/11 uh, were different people, but Coates is so emotionally devastated at the loss of his friend that he refuses to make that distinction. Thinking off the top of my head here, sorry. So that's three sentences. The fourth sentence would be um, as a result, Coates is making this emotional appeal to the reader in an attempt to persuade the reader to see things from his point of view. Now, again, for each of these, you are supposed to, this is from the essay prompt, you were supposed to say whether or not this strengthens or weakens his overall point. Now, if I have identified his overall point as white supremacy controls the fate of his physical body, well then, I would say that this is a successful use of pathos um, to persuade the reader. At least it is for me. I'm not saying I agree with his view on first responders, but I understand why he is making the appeal the way he is here. So Coates is making this emotional appeal to the reader in an attempt to persuade the reader to see things from his point of view. Semicolon, that police officers and other agents of the state ultimately have control over whether or not Coates, oh God, that's horrible. Ultimately have control over whether Coates lives or dies. I'm going to leave it at that. The other point I would make is whether or not he is able to walk around free or whether or not he's in prison. But again, I don't have to make that point right now because this is just the outline and this is like the shitty rough draft. Now, and this is the assignment before the shitty rough draft. I'm also going to highlight this because this work that I have just done here is going to be put up on Canvas for you to look at. If you go back over here to the assignment page, right down here, where is it? Here, where it says rhetorical analysis outline example, that will actually be a link and you'll be able to look at this Word doc that I just finished making. So, but I'm going to highlight all this red text and yellow background. That's ugly as sin, but whatever. And you'll know that that part that is highlighted does not have to be done for the outline assignment. That was just me giving you an example for the analysis you'll need to write when it comes to your rough draft. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you remember that. Hopefully you don't wind up writing the analysis for all three body paragraphs for the outline. But on the other hand, if you do, you're saving yourself a lot of time when it comes time to tackle the rough draft. Okay. I have talked way too long. I'm guessing this is like a 25-minute video, and I apologize for that. You, of course, are free to fast forward through as much of it as you need. There literally isn't anything else I think I need to say about this assignment, so I am going to shut up. I will see you in the next video for the next essay. Bye.